Welcome to What in the Smut podcast,
where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle.
And I'm Kay. So we've got a lot going on in 2026. What's going on in the Smutverse this week?
Here's the thing. The news we talk about on this podcast is usually limited to bookish drama and AI bullshit. We are not journalists. We are not politicians. We are not activists, but we are people. And these last few weeks have been especially hard on people in our home in the United States and abroad. I, for one, am angry.
Yep.
I question a lot of things, including spending time on things that feel a little frivolous. But I think now, more than ever, it is critically important that you hold on to both your rage and your whimsy. So get angry, attend protests, look out for your neighbors. If you are privileged enough to still or nominally live in a democracy, call your representatives, vote, not just in the presidential elections, but in the midterms, in the primaries. Your voice matters. You matter. And once you've done all that, once you've spent your rage and feel exhausted and despondent, go find your whimsy again. Protect it at all costs, because your whimsy, your joy, your ability to continue on is what makes you human. And as a friend told me recently, the best fuck you I can give the world is being wildly and completely myself and loving myself and the things that bring me joy as much as possible, because they don't want you to continue on. You're the only you that has ever and will ever exist. You must do the things that make you you, or it's all for nothing. We'll be right here waiting for you when you get back.
Very well said. It's been a dark couple weeks here in the U.S. We've got some listeners that are not in the U.S. We've got some people watching from the outside, and it's been dark.
Yeah, and I'm sure the rest of the world is kind of looking on with bated breath and wondering what the fuck the U.S. is going to do next.
Same.
Us too.
To be honest.
Us too, guys. Like, Jesus Christ. Now, as much as the world makes me want to play dead, it seems more than a little inconvenient for our female main character this week. Okay?
So this week we read Fake It Till You Mate It by Sarah Spade. And the synopsis says, when I wake up in the morgue, I know it's time to move on. When people think of shifters, they always bring up the predators, wolves, bears, big cats, but prey shifters exist too. The bunnies, the hedgehogs, and my old childhood nemesis, Roxy, who was an adorable raccoon and a huge headache. Then there's me, Honey Morgan, one in a long line of Virginia opossums, and who has a tendency to play dead at the worst possible moments. For nearly my whole life, I've managed to live among humans who have no clue that I'm a soup. But when I get startled and drop only to wake up in the morgue, I have to admit my mother was right. Us opossums need to be around other shifters, even if the local predators have me hissing. Or maybe that's just one. Max Lobo. To the outsiders who might pass through Moonborough, he's the scowly sheriff. To the soup residents, he's the all-powerful alpha of the Moon Shadow Pack. To me, he's my mate. He doesn't seem to recognize me as his, though, and I'm okay with that. After all, I'm too busy taking over my witchy grandmother's old bakery. With her recipes, my sense of humor and work ethic, and my sidekick Gus, I focus on making Dough You Believe in Magic a success. Which probably would have been a lot easier if I didn't stumble upon a dead predator outside my back door, or if it didn't bring the alpha repeatedly to my front one. Thrown together with Max, I have to figure out who targeted my bakery, why it seems like I might have been the one they were after, and how to survive being around the alpha as he begins to realize that I'm not just some newcomer prey bumbling around on his territory that he needs to protect, but the other half of his wolf's soul he has to claim. Hey, fake it till you made it, right? This is a long-winded synopsis.
It was. I think the issue with this one was just that, like, this author has written a vast, huge backlog of books in this universe. And so there's kind of like a little bit of expectation that you know about the universe, but maybe not about these particular shifters, this particular town, etc. And so I think there's like a synopsis is doing a lot to kind of give you that background.
Yeah, this isn't just an elevator pitch here. Like, this is like the back of the book would be.
I agree.
But there is a lot going on in terms of tropes and some of the more cliched romance tactics that we tend to see.
Yeah.
Where would you put this one on our smut scale?
Oh, it's so sweet and so vanilla and so one.
Yes. It's almost closed door.
Oh, it's very nearly closed door. Like,
It's definitely a fade to black kind of.
there is some explicit penetration. It's barely explicit.
I wouldn't even call it explicit.
I think a closed door romance reader would call this open door. And
that's fair.
Open door romance reader would call this a closed door. So
that's
kind of what we're working with here.
That being said, there are some triggers.
Yeah.
There's death, murder, insta-love, which could be a trigger for some. Anything else? Poisoning. In terms of like sexual triggers, none.
Well, virgins.
Yeah, fair.
That's a trigger.
When I read it, I was like, oh, come on. Like, that's not going to be hot. They're going to be bumbling around like they're in their 30s. No. But it is kind of a sweet, cozy mystery.
Yep.
In a supernatural world.
Yep. I'm not mad.
No. It was a nice reprieve, I think.
I agree.
From the state of the world.
Yeah.
So this has pretty good reviews, 4.2 on Amazon and 3.8 on Goodreads. And unlike last week's book, there were a lot of reviews. A 2-star on Amazon says, great premise, strong start. I'm not a fan of shifter romances 90% of the time. I was so excited about this one until about 1/3 of the way through. After that, the writing gets confusing, the resolutions are unsatisfactory, and it reads like a high school fanfic. Granted, I dislike the genre anyway, but still, the biology aspect was too wrong for my suspension of disbelief too, especially in regards to the snakes. This was a wild take. The snake thing?
Yeah.
I'll type it in so we have it when we get to that point.
Yeah.
So a 4-star says, cute, quick read. Mate, mate, mate. That word is thrown around so much the title gives it away. It was a cute in-between read. You get what you expect, a happily ever after. Some questions are answered. The storyline felt rushed 60% in, so everything is rushed, a murder, a clue, a suspect, and then bam, we get the killer. Done. Spice. It's implied and short scripted, leaving more to the imagination. Both virgins. It's a shifter universe, so it's the typical cliche of won't have sex until you find the one. I kind of want a story for Reardon. I'm curious how his curse will break. Roxy has her story next. I didn't get or like her relationship with Honey. Childhood friend / enemies / bully to she's the only friend I have. For a 4-star
There's
review,
a lot of criticism.
This person hated it.
Yeah, I agree with some of the criticism here, and we'll get into it. But like the pieces of this that they take issue with in some cases are just like part and parcel for the genre. So it's just like, yes. I don't know what you're doing here.
Absolutely.
A 5-star on Goodreads says, a very cute shifter romance. I loved the opossum shifter. That is something that I've never seen before. The dynamics between Max and Honey were phenomenal. The we are mates, but I'm hiding it for whatever reason is usually very frustrating in my opinion, but this time it was pulled off flawlessly. I was not frustrated at all. It is so refreshing to not have the miscommunication trope. The best character is Gus. Thank you so much for giving his insight at the beginning of each chapter. I agree. Gus is the best.
Yes, I also agree with that. We don't get much from him, but what we do get is gold.
Yeah, agreed. And finally, a 3-star on Goodreads. This was a pretty decent quick read. My only real complaint is that it wasn't male POV. I would have loved to have the male main character's point of view. Another small me thing is I wanted an epilogue with babies, LOL. But otherwise, it was a good palate cleanser from my past few reads where the female main character annoyed the crap out of me. I
wanted to know what your take was. That's why I pulled this one. Because I was like, oh, Elle's going to have something to say about that.
Given how rushed the marriage is, I am so glad we did not have an epilogue with babies. Fuck off. Get out of here with that nonsense. I guess I do have some curiosity about when an opossum and a wolf have children,
it's probably a dominant recessive kind of thing.
That makes sense. I feel like you'd get mostly wolf and then occasionally you get one opossum.
Well, especially since he's an alpha.
Yeah, true.
His genes are going to be real dominant. I bet you it would be mostly...
That's how science works, right?
Yes. We love science here.
Yeah, We do. We like to
We
learn.
use it even though based on everything we read, we shouldn't. So, if you are interested in giving this one a read, it is on Kindle Unlimited. It's a relatively new release. It was released in 2025. We've got a lot to say. This was a pretty long one, almost 300 pages.
Yeah.
Which is long for what we typically talk about. So, if you want to give it a read, we will be right here waiting for you when you get back.
Indeed. Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it.
We start with a prologue, and we start with Gus.
Every chapter starts with a little snippet from Gus.
Yes.
Who is our main character's sidekick, a wild opossum.
Indeed. He thinks to himself, Mother died again, but she got better, and I'm glad. Who else will take care of Gus?
I love this. I love that his name is Gus because Gus from Cinderella is one of my favorite characters of all time.
Gus.
It's the perfect name.
It is. It's great. I love everything about it. So we start in the prologue with Honey, our main character, waking up in the morgue. And it says, if I had a nickel for every time I played possum and ended up in the morgue, I'd be 15 cents richer, which might not seem like much, but really, after the second time I scared the shit out of the morgue technician, you'd think they might recognize me before popping me in the morgue drawer.
This is crazy.
Yes. We're not going to learn until much, much later that like her heartbeat actually becomes undetectable. It truly, truly looks like she died, not like she fainted.
Yes. Which I think is kind of what happens
with opossum. So this is our explanation for how Honey ends up in a shifter town, which is kind of confusing. And I do think that like the beginning of this story relies a lot on knowing about the universe and understanding that there are shifter towns, sanctuary cities, which in this case is where a lot of prey shifters live, not how we politically think of sanctuary cities.
What are those these days?
Yeah, true. God, there's no such thing anymore. Oh my God, there's no such thing anymore.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway. Whimsy.
Sorry, whimsy. Possums. Let's go.
Possums. Possum shifters. So Honey makes her way out of the morgue and decides it's time to leave this human town. She moves to Moonborough, and that is where we start our actual story.
Have you ever watched videos of
possum? Yes.
Like doing the like freeze and drop dead?
Have you seen fainting goats?
Yes, same thing. Same.
The cutest, most pathetic thing you've ever witnessed in your whole life.
Someone had said in one of the reviews that it was like Zootopia.
Yes.
Smutty Zootopia. So like you think about prey in terms of like bunnies or whatever, but you don't think about it in terms of like a goat. A fainting goat in particular would absolutely be prey for anything. Yeah.
So Honey has moved to Moonborough specifically because her grandmother lived in Moonborough and has a very successful bakery. And her grandmother's a full-blooded witch. And she decided that she wanted to travel and needed someone to take over the bakery. Honey has very little actual magic. She's only a quarter witch, but she has enough that she can make her grandmother's recipes and have them turn out successfully. And it's a shifter-run town. It's not on any map. You can't even get past the borders unless you have soup blood. But since it's also the home to the Moonshadow Pack, that means vampires are out. So this feels like a reference to a different series in the universe, would be my guess.
Yes. Is the wolf vampire, has that been a long-standing
thing in lore?
Rivalry in lore? Because I mean, obviously Twilight. And we had a period of time where Twilight showed up in every single episode that we did.
I know, it's crazy that it's taken so long.
Vampires and werewolves overlap in Greece.
Oh, interesting.
But they intertwine in folklore and modern fiction, often portraying them as ancient enemies tied to lunar cycles and representing primal human duality, with vampires as seductive immortals and werewolves as cursed bestial shapeshifters.
That's human duality?
I mean, both have roots in ancient mythology, Mesopotamia and Greece.
All right. Well, you learn something new every day. So we also get introduced to Roxy Kane, who I agree with the one reviewer of this transition from childhood bully to my only friend is rough.
Yeah. I wouldn't call them best friends.
No.
But she does look out for her.
Yeah.
But we do get a little bit of a background on Roxy's family life.
True. And her older
sister was way worse. So,
True.
like, she never really was given any kind of model for how somebody's supposed to treat the people that they care about.
This is true. The thing that I was really sad about is that we really should have seen Honey realize that the sheriff was her mate.
Yeah.
Like, we really should have gotten that on the page, because I think that that would make a lot of the rest of the progression hit a little harder, because we're going to get it as like a passing sentence, as like a tell not show. I really think that instead of having our first interaction be like, this is a stranger, to like instead be like, oh, this is my mate. Oh shit. And my mate's a predator, which is kind of going to be like this whole thing. Like, I love the premise. The premise, but like, I wanted that like explicit realization, like while she's staring him down. I just think that would have been so much juicier.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of the visceral mate feelings that a lot of these books can give you as the reader.
Yes. I agree.
So we do get Roxy saying to Honey that it might be nice to have someone around town that I actually tolerate. So we're getting that like rough around the edges black cat vibe. Or I guess raccoon vibe. And she says, if you need somebody to steal recipes, intimidate rude customers, dispose of bodies. And Honey says, I'm running a bakery, not committing any felonies. Yes. So we're already getting that she's technically prey, but she's like a little higher on the hierarchy. The shifter hierarchy. I said that's what it would be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it says, every few days, I try to make a new recipe from my grandmother's book to give away as free samples. It was a way to introduce myself to the town while assuring Grandma Jean's customers that I have just enough of her magic to run the shop while she's overseas. And as we mentioned, her grandmother is a witch. Now, I don't know why she would have kept the can't resist cupcakes in the recipe book without explicitly
explaining what they would do.
But Honey makes them, and they have lemon filling and a strawberry buttercream frosting.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so hungry and I want one right now. As like the morning gets busier, people start grabbing them. This inciting incident is going to escalate because a red-haired shifter that she's seen come into the shop once or twice blurts out, I dye my fur. I've always wanted to be a vibrant shade of orange, and the drugstore just outside of town sells it in a box.
So she's a fox shifter. And
Indeed.
She's also the town hairstylist?
Indeed. So it's very scandalous that she dyes her fur with box dye. And also, if you're a hairstylist, you don't want or need box dye to dye your fur,
I suppose.
So it's weird that like we're not going to see the actual secret.
The catalyst secret. Yeah.
I agree that the resolutions were not that satisfying. This is a wonderful setting and a wonderful premise with the opossum shifter, alpha wolf shifter mate who's the sheriff. I like all of this. A mystery writer, this author is not.
Are they not a mystery writer because you weren't able to figure it out right away?
It's a little bit. A little bit. But like the thing was that like we won't learn the name of the murderer until like halfway through this book.
No.
It's literally halfway that we learn his name. It's not even mentioned that there's a wolf in the bakery. Is it mentioned that there's a wolf?
There is. Okay. So she realizes truth bombs. Holy shit, honey, you just served truth bombs to your customers.
Yep.
We skipped over this, both of us, and didn't clock it.
Here it is. The amber-eyed wolf shifter I pointedly pretended not to notice prowling around the bakery starts saying something about the alpha, and my heart drops. It doesn't matter. I shut down when it comes to anything to do with that male. Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Do you take back your mystery critique
No,
then?
I still don't.
It wasn't a big enough hint for you.
You're right that there's more here than I expected, but the motivations do not make sense.
Yeah. When we find out, like, why the people that ended up being the victims were the victims, it doesn't really track.
No, he should have just killed her.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reason. None of this makes sense. This mystery makes no sense. I think it's a fun, cozy read. I think if you're looking for an Agatha Christie, you should look elsewhere. But yes, we do get a mention to the amber-eyed wolf shifter, and Honey is realizing that she fucked up royally and basically hints at Gus to destroy the cupcake display.
Yes.
In an attempt to save face and pretend that it wasn't the cupcakes making everyone blurt out their secrets.
Yes. So she replaces the cupcakes with eclairs and hopes that nobody noticed, and then realizes that that is not the case.
Yep.
And a familiar scent of woodsy pine and something sharp slaps me in the face so effectively my hand jostles, sending flour flying everywhere. This is a couple hours later. Sheriff Max Lobo walks into the bakery. He is the alpha of the Moonborough pack, but also the sheriff of town, which... Why they need to call him sheriff if he's alpha and it's just a supernatural town doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but okay.
It does not.
So this is where we find out that she uses scent dampening charm.
Yes.
So he can't sense that she is his mate.
Not just that she is his mate, but that she's an opossum.
That's true.
She
wants to fly under the radar with being just a witch.
Yes. And I wasn't really clear on why either. This is a supernatural town. There are plenty of prey shifters here. They have their own meetings, support each other and whatever.
Well, and the thing is, we get that it's kind of a vulnerability thing. She doesn't want to be rejected because why would the alpha of this pack accept a mate bond with...
Yeah. This part I don't mind. I don't mind her hiding from the mate and in fear of him rejecting her. I think this is great. I like that. My problem is that I don't understand why she was hiding that she was an opossum shifter, in general.
I feel like they're a misunderstood animal.
Yeah. Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. And she does have Gus there, so she kind of relies on him and his scent to be the distraction if the scent dampening charm lets any of her innate possumness through. Yep. She can blame it on the actual wild opossum in the corner of the bakery.
Yep.
We also don't even get a direct interaction with Max here. It just says the sheriff shows up and is there to talk about the fact that she served truth bombs to her customers. So this is where we find out that he's her mate. It says, I've ran into Sheriff Lobo countless times over the last 2 months. And okay, it's not countless because my inner opossum has been keeping track and it's been 16 times, which I found funny. But we haven't seen a single interaction between these two.
Yeah.
They've exchanged no lines of dialogue.
And it's not even it's a slow burn because there's no, it's pretty immediately that connection once they do have these interactions.
Yeah. I just wanted a little bit more.
A little bit of angst.
A little bit of angst. Yes. There's not nearly enough angst. If you are filled with this deep-seated sense of insecurity because you're a prey and he's a predator, fucking give me some angst.
We get a little bit of angst, but it's just further along.
It's a dusting, and I want a main course of it.
So we get another cute little thing from Gus. Mother is trying to feed a wolf. I don't approve, but she is kind. She is my mother.
Yeah, I love Gus. He's the best.
Yeah. So the next day she gets more customers because people kind of heard about what was going on. So again, that nosy small town, like, so she made lift you up meringues, which promised a whole hour of a great mood with no crash afterward. I could use one of these.
God, what a mood. And
lift
I was
you up
like,
meringues.
I kind of expected this to be like another mishap because I was like, clearly grandma doesn't label her fucking recipes.
Yeah.
She thinks this is going to be a mood booster, and instead her customers are going to be levitating. Like, but no, it's fine. See, and now there's going to be a couple references to Betsy here. So we're going to meet Betsy, the bunny shifter. And it's bizarre how much we fixate on her. She does not matter.
No. But also, this is like trying to throw you off the trail.
Yeah, it is. But like, and not the correct way.
So we get the bunny shifter saying, so I heard you spent some time with Sheriff Lobo yesterday. And she thinks to herself, deny, honey, deny, deny, deny. But she didn't spend any time with Sheriff Lobo. He came into the bakery, he sniffed, and then he left.
No. It says, I was happy to tell him my side of the story, wave him off when he didn't push back, and hope like hell that my charm held. For a moment there, right before he headed for the door, I wasn't so sure it did. He paused, blah, 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 blah. They had like a full-ass conversation. We just didn't see it.
That's the problem.
Yes.
That's the problem. And I did see in some of the reviews that, like, again, I forgot that had happened because we don't get any of that conversation.
No.
But I did see in one of the reviews that they wish that there was more actual dialogue between the two of them.
Yeah. Like, we get so much dialogue between her and Roxy, her and this Betsy character, like, her and, like, a whole bunch of side characters that we don't care about. Like, give me Max.
Yeah. Also, the bunny shifter is just looking for gossip.
Oh, of course. Yeah. She is kind of going in for, what is it about you? What's the goss? What little tidbits can I find? And she leans in and says, you're a witch, sure, but there's something else there. Something, I don't mean to offend or nothing, but a little musky.
If somebody told me I smelled musky, rude.
But Honey is not offended and thinks Betsy isn't wrong. Opossums have a musk, and I have an excuse. And she clicks her tongue and catches Gus's attention, and he lifts his head from where he was, you guessed it, fast asleep. Betsy is like, oh, well, that would explain the scent. Sorry, I heard you were a prey shifter like me.
How'd you hear?
How did she hear? Probably Roxy.
Oh, that's true.
But also, like,
it's not a secret if Roxy knows it.
I know. And Roxy's going to full on reveal it in front of the sheriff, like, soon. And Honey thinks to herself, Roxy didn't know it was a secret, but I'd be really mad about her blowing up my spot if I hadn't already told him. Like, how are you flying under the radar, but also a childhood friend of yours that you grew up with, like, clearly
lives in town.
Like, who knows what you are, and, like, clearly doesn't know that it's a secret what you are. Like, of course she would tell people.
It's almost like a little bit of she spent so long living with humans that even, like, in the human world, it's okay to be a little witchy.
All right.
But not be an opossum. You know?
I don't, but I'm going to give you this one.
Again, though, we think too much into it, and that's probably not at all where this was coming from.
You never know. It's very possible. But Betsy continues on and just says, well, like, I just wanted to stop by and welcome you. I work at the newspaper. I'm shocked. Yep. Oh, I almost forgot. We also have our Pray Circle meetings at the community center every other Monday. And Honey mishears. She's like, prayer circle? And Betsy's like, no. Pray Circle. We share snacks and safety tips and sometimes even swap stories about what it's like to date predators. And Honey goes, that's oddly specific.
It is oddly specific and also ends up just being exactly what happens. And I kind of hated that too.
I agree. So they're finishing up their conversation and Betsy turns to leave when a wolf comes into the bakery. And we literally get more detail about this wolf than we get about her mate.
Yeah, that's true.
it's upsetting to me a little bit, like where the details were spent. But he's good looking, and Honey thinks to herself, whether I'm hiding what I am or not, us prey shifters have to stick together. But it's also kind of funny that Betsy clearly does not feel the same way, because she immediately flees and leaves Honey alone with the wolf shifter.
That's true. So Declan asks her, Honey, is that your name, or do you and Betsy have something going on? I mean, have something going on. You can call anybody Honey.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, that's my name. He says, pretty name. She goes, I've always liked it. The responses that she has to predators are not prey-like.
No, I'm not mad about the fact that Honey has a lot of sass for a prey shifter. And I think it does a good job of proving her as an unreliable narrator, in that, like, she's got this vulnerability and this insecurity about, like, being a prey shifter, but, like, she's not cowering.
Yeah.
To your point, her actions speak a little bit louder than her internal monologue, in that, like, yeah, she might be a prey shifter and she might be worried about, like, the societal implications of mating not just a wolf, but the alpha of the pack.
Yeah.
But, like, she is not cowed by any particular predator that she runs into.
That's true. So Declan is trying to flirt with her, tells her she's pretty. He says that they've got a pack meeting tonight, so he's looking for some snacks.
Yeah.
He uses the pack credit card. Then she goes to grab the cake from the fridge and sees a smaller white box on the shelf above the cake and pauses. So she brings that smaller box out and asks him to give that to the alpha.
Yes.
He says, are you sure about that, giving food to the alpha? Because if you feed someone unmated that you could potentially be attracted to, it's not just a meal. It's telling them that you are a provider, that they'll never go hungry or want for anything if you're around. If I was a predator, giving the sheriff a cupcake now would be like I was trying to feed him, which she is.
Yeah.
She was using it as a peace offering because she kind of caused some drama with the...
Yeah, with the cupcakes.
With the truth bombs.
Yes. But, like, what's interesting is that, like, she knows what this looks like. I don't know. Like, if in your culture, if you give someone a ring, it means that you're trying to marry them. And you're like, I'm just trying to offer a peace offering as a purely platonic thing and not draw attention to myself. Here, let me give you the symbol of wanting to marry you.
It just sounds like men in the dating world right now. So, I mean, I guess if it was going the other way around, it would just be like, well, that's just men. Let me offer you what you really want, and then be like, no, that was not what that meant.
That's purely platonic. I don't know what you're talking about. You clearly are trying to make this more than it is. But Honey should know better, is all I'm saying.
I agree.
But I guess, to be fair, she does justify it to herself. A prey shifter feeding a predator is kind of just doing their job, showing respect. So I'm not too worried about Sheriff Lobo getting the wrong idea. I'm the baker, after all. Giving away treats is what I do.
But it's not the wrong idea.
It's not the wrong idea.
If she knew he wasn't her mate and knew that, like, there was no attraction there at all, then she might be giving him the wrong idea. But that's not the case. So it's conflicting. We get another thought from Gus. Dead predator on our territory. Mother dies again, rather theatrically. Amateur.
I love Gus.
Well, because we don't ever get Gus doing the, like, play dead.
No, he never plays dead.
In fact, he stands up to the predators more than she does, even.
That's true. So she's wrapping up for the evening, and Gus is upset about something. She is like, come on, bud, let's, like, go to bed. It's fine. Like, I'll make you eggs for dinner. Like, you seem a little nervous. They go upstairs. She lives in the apartment above the bakery. It's 5:00 in the morning when Gus and I head downstairs to start our day, and she's taking the trash out, and Gus is like, upset. And when she opens the back door, Peppermint overwhelms everything. I'm an opossum shifter and it completely blows out my nose. And she's like, what the fuck? And she marches over to the dumpster, tossing the trash bag inside of it. And as she turns, ready to head back in, she notices a pair of legs sticking out from the other side of the dumpster. And then she goes around and discovers it's Declan and he's dead.
So his face is halfway transformed. His nose is a muzzle. His teeth are fangs. His lips are a deep blue. And in his hand is the cupcake that he was supposed to give to the alpha yesterday.
With a single bite missing.
So he's dead, and as the lightheadedness in my brain gives way to complete unconsciousness, I just hope I don't crack my skull on the asphalt as I drop. She comes to again with two predators leaning over her. We get, when you finally come to again, you find two very imposing figures crouched down next to you. Each male is wearing a cloth mask protecting their mouths and their noses from the peppermint stink that's only gotten worse since I fainted. Even so, a very prominent part of me catches a hint of pine, and even half conscious, I know exactly who one of them is, which is precisely why I focus on the other. So we get a description of the other wolf.
Again, more description of every other male character in this fucking book than we get of the male main character.
Well, but also she's trying not to focus on him.
But like as the reader, fucking throw me a bone, Sarah. I want to know who the main characters are.
So his muscles have muscles. We know I love that.
Yeah.
And if he clamped his massive hands over my head, he could screw it off my neck like it was a bottle cap. That was a very
descriptive.
Yes, which I didn't hate it. And it says, if that gives the impression that he's a thug, that couldn't be more wrong. His silk shirt molds to his chest perfectly, the color an exact match to his eyes. This close, I can tell he's wearing a pair of impeccably tailored dark gray trousers. He looks like he belongs in a villa in Italy, not in Moonborough.
Stop describing all of these male main characters as like romance leads, I beg of you.
Well, he eventually will be.
Yeah.
So like you've got to get the reader on board with him so they want to read his book too.
I get it,
but
that like it. Only works if we start with this is the guy I like.
That's true. Well, now we're gonna get a description.
Fine. Fucking finally. This is chapter 5. We are 20% of the way through this book.
That's true.
Ugh.
He has rich, russet-colored hair, leaning toward making him more of a brunette that's slightly long in the front. I have to curl my fingers at my side to resist the urge to see if it's as soft as it looks. I already know the rugged, handsome features that are currently covered up by the mask, though I can imagine his jaw is clenched tight as he waits for me to, what, explain myself? Get off the ground? Blurt out a confession that I killed Declan? So she blurts out, I didn't do it.
Yeah. Gus moves over and the big guy, the other guy that we don't have a name for yet, this is Reardon, right? Yeah. The big guy reaches for Gus and she's like, absolutely not. And she like cradles Gus close and is like, no, I mean it, Gus and me. This is Gus, by the way. We were just throwing out the trash this morning before opening when we found the dead predator. So he continues, that's Declan Rowe. He was a Delta in the Moonshadow Pack and someone killed him on your territory. There was a report that there were 2 bodies here. My deputy and I came with our team and here you are, very much alive. And my wolf, he seems to not be after eating one of your tainted cupcakes. And she's like, how dare you? My cupcakes aren't tainted. And I don't know who he is. And the sheriff's like, did you give it to him? And she's like, well, yeah. And he's like, to poison him? And she was like, no, he wasn't supposed to eat it. You were. And she's like, wait.
So she says, you've got to be kidding me. I'm never my best when I'm coming out of a faint. Claiming it's narcolepsy isn't too far off, but you think I would have thought twice before I blurted that out.
Yeah. And the other guy is like, are you telling me that your target was the alpha? And she's like, no, I'm just a baker. I swear I didn't do it. Oh my God. And they're like, do you bake with peppermint extract? This is not how police investigations are conducted, by the way.
Maybe supernatural ones.
They are the worst police.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, because their typical tactics aren't working for them because they don't have their sense of smell right now because of the peppermint.
But like this, it's such basics. They didn't even check underneath the dumpster.
That's true. Well,
and if we hadn't gone to such lengths to say not only is he the alpha of the wolf pack, he is also the sheriff. And this is a modern day romance. You would think being the sheriff, being a moderately intelligent being of some sort, you would think, yes, our main asset is closed off to us. That means we must be even more diligent with all other aspects of interrogation, of police work. Let's close off the scene. Let's ensure that we go over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Well, I mean, they're gonna do that kind of, but not yet. They are.
They're literally not going to return to the scene of this crime until like 2 weeks from now, and Honey is going to be the one climbing underneath the dumpster to look for clues.
That's true.
She's not a police officer.
I just didn't realize you took such issue with the procedures of detective work.
I've listened to too much true crime. Shocking. I know. I am a white woman who listens to true crime podcasts. But shoddy police work is the reason why so many cases don't get solved. Yeah. And like in this day and age, fucking be better.
Fair.
Never mind that, like, it's a little rough to be reading a book where we're supposed to be attracted to a policeman. And, like, given the climate of the world right now, I'm not exactly jazzed about that. So, like, at least make him a competent policeman.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that is my soapbox.
That's fair. I'll give you that one.
Anyway.
So she's thinking to herself, like, it has to be murder.
Yeah.
There's no way that Declan killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
But their instincts, their animal instincts don't allow them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And their regenerative properties are too high. So she's thinking, like, as far as I know, there's only two things that can kill a shifter. A crap ton of silver and getting our heads chopped off.
Mm-hmm. And then she thinks to herself, I moved to Moonborough so that I could stop waking up near dead bodies. This is not an improvement.
So when they suggested that they bring her in to take her statement, she's thinking inside the bakery,
mm-hmm.
which why she would think that, I don't really know. They're not
she clearly has not listened to true crime. Yep. So they close down the bakery and take her in to the police station. And they ask her if she needs anything before they get started. And she asks for fruit mostly for Gus. But the sheriff is the one who brings in the food. And she's like, crud, my maybe mate is offering me food. I know he's just playing good cop after Reardon got me settled down. I know he's not propositioning me with a plate full of fruit. Still, tell that to my inner possum. It's like, aw.
But also, she doesn't eat any of the food.
No.
She gives it all to Gus.
Yep.
So they say, why don't we start from the beginning? She says, so I tell them everything. Well, almost everything.
And then the sheriff says, let's talk about the cupcake. You said you intended me to have it. Is that true? And she was like, yeah, but I wasn't trying to poison you. I wasn't trying to poison anyone. It wasn't even a charmed cupcake. It was just a really yummy caramel apple cupcake. It was a peace offering to say sorry after you had to stop at the bakery when I accidentally baked honesty cupcakes. And he says, you're sure that wasn't another magic cupcake? And she says, positive. And he goes, but you're a witch. And she's like, test it. You'll see. No magic at all. He's like, okay, let's talk about you. She's like, please let's not. And he goes, there's something about you. I can't quite put my claw on it. My wolf keeps telling me that you're hiding something. What is it, honey?
This happened a couple times and I hated it.
You didn't like it?
The claw, or he puts his paw on me.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, if he's in his human form, they're hands. They're not paws. They're not claws. They're hands and fingers. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't need the reminder that they're shifters. We're getting the alpha vibe from him the whole time. I did not like the paw and claw.
No. And especially when we get the references to him, like, putting a paw, like, on her waist or something. Like,
yeah.
in a sexual context, when someone puts their paws on you, it has a negative implication.
Yeah. And they're usually meaty.
Yes. They are usually meaty paws, and like it means someone is pawing at you, and that usually implies a lack of consent on your part.
Yes.
And so I think it's unfortunate, but a reality of the connotations of that word in that context that you can't use it, despite this being a shifter romance.
I agree.
So she realizes that being suspicious and the sheriff knowing that she's hiding something is not good for her.
Yeah.
And she decides that she's going to have to tell him a truth, because part of the magic of wolf shifters specifically is that the alpha has the ability to use their senses to know when a shifter under their protection is lying to them.
Yes.
So she can't lie and say she's not hiding something, because she is. But she is hiding two things. One, that she is an opossum shifter, and two, that he is her mate. And so she decides to give him what she believes is the lesser of the two secrets.
Yes.
And says, I am a witch, a quarter witch on my mom's side. Grandma Jean was full-blooded, but my grandfather wasn't. And the sheriff says, then what was he? And she says, a shifter. He is very annoyed, because this means that he had a shifter that was supposed to be under his protection.
That he did not know about.
That he did not know about.
Yes.
Which is very unsettling and upsetting to him, because that means that he would have been failing at his job. And he's like, okay, what kind of shifter? Reardon says, you should tell him. And she's like, yeah, I know that, buddy. And she says, opossum. And I get the sense, given the fact that this woman has violet eyes, that opossum shifters are pretty rare.
At least in that area.
Or specifically outside of prey sanctuary cities. Because like the fact that she knew immediately that Betsy, who had pink eyes, was a bunny shifter because she had pink eyes.
Yeah.
Like it seems kind of crazy to be hiding your prey shifterness when you have such a defining physical feature that marks you as a prey shifter.
But also it kind of makes sense too, because like if you think about it, in the wilds, possums slink away and they like
secretive.
So I mean, I guess it tracks for how she would act as a human, kind of.
I'll give you that. So the fact that she's blurted herself as an opossum means that she can explain that she fainted, her instincts took over, she found a dead predator, that was scary, and thus she played dead.
She calls it a genetic disposition, the same way wolf shifters can't help but howl at the moon, you know?
Yeah.
He says, as the only opossum shifter I'm aware of in town, it can be dangerous if you appear as dead as you just did earlier today. Because I'll be honest with you, Reardon was almost sure you did die.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I was startled when I saw the dead predator. I reacted. I am an opossum, and that means I might have engaged in defensive stillness.
And Reardon says, you played dead. And she goes, I played dead.
So having a powerful alpha look at me like I was nothing but trouble, I could deal with that. But when the sheriff's wolf eyes softened just enough to tell me that his beast seems almost pleased at the idea that he's now, according to shifter politics, responsible for me like the rest of the shifters in Moonborough, I almost want to shift and hide under the table to escape the way he's suddenly looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
That first glimpse of, even with the scent dampening charm, he still is having those kind of mate proclivities, if you will.
Indeed. She thinks if he had to ask what I am, he can't scent me. So that means he has no idea that I'm his mate. This is just his overprotective alpha instincts at work, especially since he's dealing with the death of one of his pack mates. That's the most important part, finding out what happened to Declan. And so the sheriff walks her out the door. He says, here's my card. Call if anything scares you again, either of you. And she says, I didn't say I was scared. And he says, you didn't have to.
But this is also, he says, either of you, like he thinks that Gus is also a shifter.
That's true. He does think that.
And not only that, but he also thinks that
They're
Gus
mated.
is her mate.
Oh my gosh. So she doesn't open the bakery and gets up the next day and is like, okay, today is a new day. We're going to open the bakery. And then Roxy comes in and goes, honey, shit, when I said something about dead bodies, I was just fucking around. And Honey's like, you heard? And Roxy's like, all of Moonborough's heard.
I mean, if it's a small town and there's murder in a small town, everybody's going to know about it pretty immediately. Also, we never find out like who called in the report that there were 2 dead bodies in the back alley.
Yeah.
So Roxy's talking to her. She asks, where's the rat? Sorry, Gus. Is he okay? So like we're starting to get Roxy softening up to her a little bit, being protective since all of this had happened.
Yeah.
And then Sheriff Lobo walks back into the bakery.
Yes.
He's wearing a tight dark blue t-shirt and jeans a shade lighter. His badge is hanging on his hip like usual. Like, you like the visual.
He has a delicious amount of stubble on his jaw.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I like it.
Yep. And like Roxy flirts with him.
Kind of. She also kind of has like no self-preservation skills because
none whatsoever.
She goes, stop me if you've heard this before. A wolf, a raccoon, and an opossum walk into a bakery. And this is where Honey's like, if I didn't already tell him yesterday that I was an opossum, like she just blew up my spot and that sucks.
Yeah. And then Roxy continues, hey, handsome. Did Honey tell you that opossums have an odd number of nipples?
Oh, that's another thing I didn't look up. Is that true?
It seems weird to include it if it's not true.
13 nipples. Arranged in a circle of 12 with one in the center. Interesting.
Huh. Okay. Fascinating.
Wow. With litters potentially reaching 25 plus babies, only the first 13 to latch usually survive.
The fuck?
Crazy.
My God, I learned more on this podcast than I expect.
And so much of it is about the lactation of animals.
Of mammals? We've learned a weird amount about lactation in mammals. For sure. So, Honey is about to die of embarrassment and says, that's wild opossums, Roxy. Opossum shifters have the normal amount. 2. I have 2. And she's contemplating murdering Roxy. She's like, I'm going to kill her. Sure, she's a raccoon, but she's not a big cat or a wolf. I can take her. And Roxy goes, that's right. And you're a specific type of opossum, ain't you, hun? What was it again? And she starts to say a Virginia opossum and only gets as far as a virgin. And Roxy interrupts and goes, still? Aren't you like pushing 30? Shouldn't you have a mate by now?
Which is wild.
I know. And she goes, a Virginia opossum, and my mating is my business. What about you? Where's yours? And so the sheriff is staring at Honey and says, you don't have a mate? She's like, shit, because she's afraid he's caught on. But no, he thought that Gus was her mate.
Yes. So he's like, well, you're an opossum. He's an opossum. And she goes, what are you, a speciesist? What's next, Sheriff? Prey and predator shouldn't mix. And he goes, Miss Morgan, honey, I'm all in support of mixed matings. I don't have a mate either, but if she were human, prey, which I would accept her no matter what. So this gives her that little bit of reassurance that, like, okay, maybe this could work.
Mm-hmm.
And then she thinks this isn't the time to talk about that. Murder trumps mating. Simple as that.
So Roxy steals a pastry and disappears.
So he goes, so I guess you've met Roxy Kane. And she's like, we actually go way back. We grew up together.
And the sheriff is like, you're friends?
She says, sometimes.
Sometimes. And he says she doesn't respect me as her alpha. She doesn't seem to respect you as her friend either. And Honey replies, Roxy doesn't respect anyone except Roxy. And like, I respect a girl like that. They finally get to the point of why the sheriff is at her door. And he says, I came over in person because I wanted to tell you that one of my team tested the cupcake. You were right. No magic. And she's like, oh, thank God. But before she can finish that, he says, no magic, just straight shifter poison. And she's like, whoops, there I go. My knees wobble, my body locks. I'm just about to drop. And he goes, easy, killer. I got you. So Okay.
Yes.
How do you feel about this nickname?
Killer, I like this one.
Oh.
Because it gives a little banter to the nickname.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, there's a reason for it. It's not like red because her hair is red and that's the first thing he's noticed. I hate that. But, like, easy killer, where it's like he knows it's not actually her that did it. And also, she's prey, so she's not a killer. Like, it all works.
So it says the dark spots on the edge of my vision vanish in an instant the moment his warm paw lands on my upper arm, nearly searing through my shirt. And he goes, "You okay?" And she thinks, shockingly, I am. "Yeah, I think so. But I didn't do it. Whatever was in that cupcake, I didn't put it there." And he says, "I know." And she's like, "You do? Listen, Sheriff Lobo." And he goes, "Max, you're one of mine now. I'm not just the sheriff. I'm your alpha. I'm Max."
Which doesn't make sense because she should be calling him Alpha.
Also, she realizes that she didn't drop. Oh, that can't be good.
Yes. But it is good. It's
great.
It is good.
It's so cute. You really like it.
So he tells her that he knows that she didn't poison him.
So she decides that she's going to help solve the crime.
As you would.
As you would as the main character in a mystery.
Yes.
This makes no sense. For the record. But fine. She thinks, I'm no Miss Marple. I'm no Jessica Fletcher. I'm none of those old lady amateur sleuths that I only know about because I spent a lot of my youth at Grandma Jean and Grandpa Gary's house. I have no idea how to even start investigating what happened to Declan. And girl, what are you doing then?
But she decides that she's going to use gossip.
Yes.
To help her, which, smart.
That's fair.
And also, as prey, it's smart to utilize that because people aren't going to be gossiping around the sheriff.
No, of course not.
They're going to gossip around somebody that they think doesn't matter.
But also, you're the only suspect right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So why would people gossip in front of you?
So we get a female wolf shifter and a male jaguar that come into the bakery.
Yeah.
And they're talking about wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Which makes her perk up. And the jaguar says, I thought the alpha refused to let anyone have wolfsbane in Moonborough. And the wolf says, of course he does. Only the apothecary carries it. Good thing Joey's got a part-time job over there working for the witch who runs it. It's the only place you can get your paws on the stuff in town.
They're so blatantly talking about wolfsbane in public, which is something that the sheriff has explicitly forbidden. These are the dumbest criminals of all time.
They usually are. But they're not the criminals.
But they are, talking about an illegal substance. And they're talking about it by name. It would be like if you were in line at Starbucks saying, yeah, it's a good thing I can get cocaine at the shop down the street.
That's fair.
Here's the crazy behavior.
They're predators, though. So, they think that they're untouchable. A jaguar and a wolf are gonna think that they're untouchable, so they're gonna think it doesn't matter.
I maintain that it is a good thing that I am not criminally inclined.
Because you'd be a good criminal.
I would be a fucking amazing criminal. Criminals are so stupid.
Yeah.
They're always stupid. So she is not doing a great job of playing it cool as an eavesdropper because they turn to look at her and are like, my card? Our scones? Lady?
But again, useless prey. It is very...
believably stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah. People are this dumb. So she doesn't end up getting to the apothecary until Sunday. And she goes to the apothecary and there's a sign on the window that says store hours when the moon is high or the tide is full or the songbirds sing. And she's like, what the fuck does that mean?
So someone kind of sneaks up behind her, which also should make her play dead.
Yeah.
Because she gets surprised. But she turns around and it is another prey shifter who she assumes is a doe.
Yes.
So she tells her that you can make an appointment with the witch that owns the apothecary shop. And she goes, oh, thanks, but I was actually hoping to see my good friend Joey. I haven't been able to get in touch with him lately. And she's like, she knows I'm full of shit, but she doesn't really seem to worry about it too much. And she's like, oh, he never misses a prey circle meeting. You should come this week.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, "You're a prey shifter, right?" And she nods, not bothering to hide that fact much longer. "At this rate, with the gossips working overtime, my opossum side will be common knowledge." It's crazy. Like the way the story works, this person is in on it. The actual murderer does not know that she's a prey shifter.
Yeah, you're right. You would think that she would have told him that she was going to see her at the prey shifter meeting, and
which is why she would come with the tea.
Yeah. So we get the prey circle meeting. There's a skunk shifter who's also kind of sassy and apparently wears some kind of a scent dampening thing mixed with sawdust to cut the skunk's scent. She sees Joey. He looks nervous. She can tell that he's a rat. There's Betsy. So it's like a couple of the characters that we've already gotten information. Betsy the bunny. There's a mouse, Marnie. So Alice is the only other one that's like not an alliterative name.
Marnie the mouse. Betsy
Roxy the raccoon.
Oh
Betsy
my God,
the bunny.
you're so right.
Franny the fox.
Oh my God. I hadn't even noticed. But Joey's turn comes up and he says he got a new job this week. And he lost his old job at the apothecary. So now he delivers pizza for Carlos. And Honey is disappointed. Shit, he hasn't worked at the apothecary in 2 weeks. Like, that's not going to help with the wolf that showed up dead like 2 days ago or whatever it is. Before she can like think too hard about this, Abigail, the doe shifter that she ran into, says, "I'm Abigail and I think I'm dating a predator." And Betsy's like, "You think?"
I mean, again,
Men.
dating. You never know. Men.
Yeah. What's funny is like when I first read this, I was like unclear if the "I think" was her being uncertain about the fact that he was a predator
or the relationship.
Or the relationship.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was the predator. And then I realized it was the relationship.
Yes. Honey introduces herself. She tries to talk to Joey, but as soon as the meeting's over, he takes off. Abigail comes over to her and pulls out a small pink mesh sachet with something in it. And she says, "It's comfort tea with chamomile. I make the blend myself. It helps with the nerves. I give some to everyone who comes to Prey Circle meetings."
None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
So she's like, "It works best at night. A little hot water, some milk if you like. It's good for you." And Honey nods, promising that she'll try, even though she probably won't. She thinks to herself that she's not really a chamomile tea person. Still, if Abigail is being friendly enough to offer me some of her special brew, I'll take it with me. And Abigail says, "It was nice to meet you, Honey." And Honey says, "You too. Be careful." And like, it's so fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So then she gets the feeling that there's a predator around, and what do you know? Max is there. He also was looking for a lead, which seemingly was Joey, the rat, that took off. And he is like, "Why are you here?" She says, "I was bored." He's like, "You're not bored, you're curious, and curiosity gets people hurt." He's like, "You shouldn't be walking home alone." She's like, "Well, I didn't drive here, so I don't really have any choice." And he's like, "I'm going to walk you home."
Yep. And she's like, "Nah, that's not necessary." And he's like, "Humor me."
So they're walking. They're getting those like brief brushing of hands as they're walking, accidental touches. And when they get to the bakery, she says, "You want to come in?" And he's like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "Yeah, you can check the place for monsters if it makes you feel better." He calls her killer again. She's like, "You've called me that before, and you said you believed me when I told you I didn't do anything. So why are you teasing me like that?" And he says, "Because I don't want to see you dead. Calling you killer feels better than thinking of you as another victim." And like that admission softens him up a little bit to her. And then this time it's his hand drops down, landing on my hip. I didn't even realize how close we were until I feel the heat of his paw through my shirt. He pulls her closer, and then he says, "You drive me insane, killer." And she says, "Good. Means we're even, Max." And then he kisses her.
Yep.
which seems inappropriate for the sheriff to be kissing the only suspect he's got.
Yeah. And
but also seems a little Hallmarky to me.
very, very, very Hallmarky. But again, I needed more interactions.
Yeah.
Before we
there
got
needed to
here.
be more
tension
and more of what she's feeling.
Yeah.
It does say the second his mouth leaves mine, I'm glitching, my brain just short-circuited, which makes total sense. I don't want the aftermath. I want, how do you feel when it's happening?
Yes.
What's happening to your stomach?
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten already that this is not going to be super spicy, so we're not going to get the my core or whatever.
Yeah.
But give me the fireworks or butterflies or whatever kind of feeling you're getting.
So she is thinking this is all my opossum wanted, some sign that our mate might possibly choose us. For a second, I think I got it, and then I dare another peek up at his face. His expression is so tortured, my stomach drops all the way to my shoes. No, he didn't want this. Or he did, but he realizes it was a mistake. I'm a mistake. Rough, man. That's rough. And he says that shouldn't have happened. She nods and says, of course, it was an accident. Totally random lip smacking. Happens all the time in bakeries. And he goes, does it now? And she goes, constant hazard, occupational risk. And I didn't even charm you.
I mean, for somebody who just has had her hopes and dreams crushed a little bit with minor miscommunication, she bounces back pretty well.
I respect it.
Yeah.
We've all been there. He says, we forget it then. And she goes, perfect, forgotten, never happened. You're still the sheriff and I'm the mildly suspected baker.
He leaves. He tells her to lock up after him. Gus starts to make some noise after he leaves. And she goes, don't start. It's not like the big bad wolf just kissed me in my own bakery or anything. And then she thinks, I run my trembling finger over my lip trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to forget it when tasting Max Lobo was like coming home for the first time. We went from a sweet kiss to tasting him.
Yeah.
Not the same.
And given that we got no description of the actual kiss.
Yeah.
In this kind of universe, I would have expected this scent of pine flooded my nose, those kinds of things where it's this is a very scent-based community.
Full sensory experience.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I love a full sensory experience. We weren't getting it.
Nope. So we move on, and it says there's nothing like a second murder to really ruin your week.
So we find out that it was Abigail that died. Roxy busts through the bakery door and says Abigail Cloverfield is dead. This is where we get the information. Yeah. This is where we get the name. And we are on page 134. And Roxy says, I just heard it from Leo Holloway.
Yeah.
She goes, you know him, tall, pale blonde hair. He's a wolf high up in the pack, does something in law enforcement with the Alpha. And she's like, oh yeah, he's got a sweet tooth, likes everything with lemon on it. I remember him. He
might have been here during the catastrophe with the truth cupcakes last week, though so much of the panic of realizing that I charmed my customers accidentally has made my memories a little hazy.
So we're getting some of it. I think we're getting a lot of pieces that make a story, romance or mystery or otherwise, good. But we're not getting enough of those pieces.
I agree. That is exactly the issue. For a 300-page book, this feels like it could have and should have been a novella.
Yeah.
So what's also interesting here, again, stupid ass fucking criminals. Roxy saw Leo Holloway talking to someone, a witch. Leo heard it from the sheriff's station. Abigail is dead. She didn't go into work this morning. Her secretary went to her house to make sure she was okay. She sure as fuck wasn't. She was slumped over her table, a half-empty mug of tea or some shit next to her. Leo is talking to the witch in broad daylight, in earshot of other people, about the death of Abigail.
Well, yeah, saying that he heard it while he was at the sheriff's office.
At least he's smart enough to obfuscate the information somewhat.
Oh, that's a new word.
Obfuscate? That's a really good word.
I've never heard that one before.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
So Roxy says, I just wanted to let you know some weird shit's going down in Moonborough and I don't like the idea of you being mixed up in it. Be careful. And she goes,
Aw.
I didn't know you cared that much.
Yeah. Roxy leaves and Honey is thinking back to last night. She'd literally just seen Abigail. She was so happy and full of life, talking about her predator who might be her mate. And the way she gave me a sachet of tea to welcome me to the prey circle. And then it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Abigail gave her tea. Roxy said she was poisoned and there was a half-empty mug of tea found next to her. So she calls the sheriff.
Yep.
He answers and she says, Max, hi, it's Honey. Listen, you said to call if I'm scared. Well, I'm not. At least I don't think I am. More concerned, but okay, it's about Abigail. And then the bell over her front door jingles as Max shoves it in with his right hand. And in his left, he's got the phone holding it up to his ear. And she's like, oh, you're here. I love this interaction. I love so many pieces of this. Like, so much of it works. Like, this is adorable and funny. There's just not enough of it.
Yeah. So the first thing she says to him is, I didn't do it. And he's like, I know you didn't do it. Then he asks her point blank.
Well, because she asks him how he knows she didn't do it.
Yes. And then he asks her in his alpha voice, did you do it, honey?
Yes.
Did you poison Declan? Did you kill Abigail? And she looks him right in the eyes and says no. And he goes, that's how I know.
Because he can sense when a member of his pack is lying to him.
Yes. So he's like, I can smell Roxy. Was she here? And she goes, yeah, that's how I found out that it happened. Roxy said it might be poison. And she goes, hang on, runs upstairs, comes back down and says, Abigail gave it to me yesterday, and hands him the sachet of tea.
We get like a brief time skip. I don't know how Max's chemist buddy is able to analyze the tea so quickly, but just as I'm closing up the bakery for the night, I see flashing lights reflecting blue and red in my store window. It's Max, and he says, you're coming with me. And she's like, why? And he goes, because your instincts were spot on, honey. The tea you gave me was poisoned.
So we also got, though, that like Declan wouldn't have killed himself because it's against their instincts to do that. So either Abigail didn't know that this tea was poisoned and it was switched out.
Yep.
Or she felt so badly about herself, which is kind of what we get, that she felt so badly about being part of it that she ended up doing it herself.
Yeah.
But like, it goes against what we had gotten before, where it's like instinctually they're not able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's like, I didn't make that. I mean, Abigail gave it to me last night. She said it would help with the nerves that prey shifters get living in a town full of predators. And he goes, nerves? Do I make you nervous, killer? And I'm like, can we stop flirting right now?
We're dealing with a murder here.
Yeah. Literally. And she goes, if I knew it was poison, I would have told Abigail not to drink it either. But she said she made it. And Max is like, if she made it, she must have known it was poison, but she drank it. And so they're kind of like speculating. He goes, but she would have still tried to poison you if she hadn't drank the tea, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. He continues, that's why you're coming with me. And Honey says, but I didn't do it. You can't arrest me. One, that's not true. Two, it's very obvious he's not arresting you.
Yes. And he says, I'm not arresting you.
Yeah.
I'm taking you into protective custody.
Yeah.
Which to him means that he's taking her to his cabin, the Alpha cabin.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to his cabin. We get information that an Alpha cabin is split into two parts. One part of it is just for the Alpha and those he deems his guests. And the other part of it is for the pack to use for like pack meetings or whatnot. Right. So she assumes that she would be set up like on a couch in that smaller part of the public den space or whatever. And instead, he's bringing her to his part of it. And she's like, is this okay? And he says, I'm the Alpha. I want you here. And that's all that matters. Yeah. You're safe here as long as you're under my protection. No one can get to you.
And she says, do I really need protection? And he goes, there's a murderer on the loose. And she goes, are you sure you didn't just invite her into your territory? Like, girl, why are we doing this?
And he says, yes, honey, I'm sure. So then we get the information that they're having a pack meeting. The pack council's waiting for them. So they all go into the other side of the alpha cabin. She needs to be there too. He introduces her, right?
Yeah, and then like introduces everyone else. And that's how she learns Reardon's last name, which is Lobo, which indicates that they're related. And she blurts out, Reardon's your brother? I thought he was the beta. And Max is like, yeah, I just literally just said that. She's like trying to understand the dynamics here. For some reason, blurts out that Reardon is handsome.
Which is so weird.
It is very weird. It doesn't make any sense. And then she's like, no, you're handsome too, Max. This is happening in front of the entire pack.
Yes.
I fucking hate this.
Yep.
She's like, I'm trying to understand who's older. And Reardon says, me. And he's an alpha wolf. And she's trying to figure out what the fuck that means, because if he's the older brother, he should be the alpha of the pack.
Yes.
None of this needed to happen in front of everyone present.
No. She did need to have that realization.
Yes.
But it could have happened when they were waiting to go someplace else in a couple minutes.
Uh-huh.
So they go back to the other side of the cabin.
Uh-huh.
She gives Gus some food. She is unpacking some of her things, and she smells food. She realizes how hungry she is, and she hears Max go, kill her, you dead?
Yeah.
And then realizes he's got food, and she goes, oh, Max, I love you.
Uh-huh.
Which we've all done that before when you're like, oh shit, those are not the words that I meant to say. And those were not meant in the direction that you're taking them. And now I'm going to panic and crawl into a hole. So she's like, no, not like that. Just food. You've got food. I'm really excited about the fact that you have food. And he says, if you don't mind that I'm feeding you, I'd like to share a meal with you, honey. Mm-hmm. Which is wild that we're going back to that piece of the rules of the hierarchy of shifters and mates and feeding and whatnot.
Yep.
So she's like, he's not propositioning me. He's just doing his duty. He's the sheriff. He's the alpha. He's looking out for me. It's part of what he needs to be doing. They get this delicious steak dinner, which sounds so delicious. I'm very hungry right now. Then he starts asking her lots of questions while they're eating. Mm-hmm. And she's like, are you interrogating me?
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want to get to know you better. So then she's laying in the guest bedroom at night and is having a sex dream.
Apparently.
With chocolate chip cookie dough.
I guess.
And then Gus tries to wake her up. He's like tickling her. She jerks back. And then he kind of flies in the air a little bit. And then as she looks out the window, she realizes that there's someone staring in the window, a silhouette against the glass, but the fierce glowing gold eyes tell me it's a wolf shifter in his skin peering at me while I slept.
Yeah.
Creepy, but also why aren't the shades drawn?
Yeah. And she screams
instead
as
of
loud
dying.
as she possibly can. Yes. Later, I'll wonder why that was my reaction. Why, when faced with a pair of wolfish eyes staring through the glass at me, I didn't immediately keel over like I always used to. That's been what I do my whole life. Not tonight, as though my inner beast knew that we had a predator to protect us while we stay conscious. I scream. And barely 10 seconds later, the guest room door swings in as Max storms through it.
So she's like, there was a wolf shifter peeking into the room. I saw him, and he's like, okay, I'm going to see if I can catch him. You stay here, which she obviously does not listen to. And then she goes by her window outside, waves at Gus, who's there. So she's like, he knows I'm okay. I don't see anyone. I hear them. A low, throaty howl rips through the night. For a second, I stiffen, but as though it was a song meant for my soul, I'm not afraid of the wolf singing it. So she's seeing Max in his wolf form. Mm-hmm. And then he shifts back into his human form, and he's naked because that's what happens with shifters.
Yep.
And she says, nudity isn't a big deal for shifters. I knew what a penis looked like before I knew what a penis was. The only time it carries different weight is when sexual attraction is involved. And I've been attracted to Max Lobo for months now. Mm-hmm. So she's like, you're naked. I can't look at you. And he's like, why are you out here?
Yeah.
I told you to stay inside.
Yeah.
Again, with no survival skills.
Nope. None.
So he goes around to somewhere and pulls out a pair of pants, which gray sweatpants, which we love a pair of gray sweatpants.
We do.
And then she looks at him and goes, "Did you find the guy?"
Yeah.
He scowls, and not even the alpha could track down an interloper on his territory. What the fuck does that mean? Unless it wasn't an interloper, unless it was a pack mate who knows this land as well as Max does. Yep. Which he should be able to smell, but we will find out that he can't because of wolfsbane.
Something like that.
So he wants to go look in the woods, and she's like, "I'm coming with you." And he agrees to it, which should have been his next sign that that's his mate, because why would he be agreeing to any decisions that she's making, especially regarding to safety of his pack? So then they're going through the woods. They can't really smell anything. And then she gets bit by a copperhead.
Yep.
So he starts to freak out, like, "It got you. That was a copperhead. It's venomous. I'm here. We'll call the healer. We'll get you to the doctor." And she's like, "No, it's fine. I'm an opossum. We
are basically immune to all snake venoms."
Which
we gotta look this up.
Opossums have a high degree of resistance bordering on immunity to the venom of many pit vipers like rattlesnakes, copperheads, and water moccasins, thanks to a unique protein in their blood that neutralizes the toxins.
Wow.
So it's funny because, like, the person that wrote that review that said the biology aspect was too wrong for my suspension of disbelief too, especially in regard to the snakes.
This is just correct.
It's accurate. So what do you mean that the biology was too wrong? Obviously not somebody that's on the up and up of opossum biology, because...
Or capable of doing a quick Google search?
Yeah, I had this up and ready to go when I read that one review.
What do you mean? So Max is like, "Okay, well, it's time to head back in because I don't want to get bit by a snake." And she turns and is looking for a distraction to be like, no. We gotta, like, keep looking. And also, I don't want to spend more intimate time with you because I'm trying to avoid my feelings, etc., etc.
Yes.
And she sees something that glitters. She realizes that he should have been able to catch the copperhead. The guilty pang in my chest becomes a stab almost too painful to ignore. I know why he's blocked. The scent dampener charm that keeps him from using his instincts to take in my innate scent and aura. The woods, though? You can't smell the outside, and neither can she. There's wolfsbane nearby.
So they come to the conclusion at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So then they decide then to go back to the bakery, return to the scene of the crime, which was a terrible idea. And then he's lifting up the dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
She sees a little vial of something under the dumpster. She pulls it out and is holding it by the cork.
Yep. Which she thinks will be enough to not get fingerprints on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does not prevent the triggering of a blowback spell. So it starts to glow a vibrant green.
And then he tries to throw it away and it explodes and they are covered in wolfsbane. And he goes, "Did you get any in your mouth?" And she's like, "No, you protected me." And then they're like, "We got to take this clothing off of us. Our clothes are covered in wolfsbane."
Yeah.
She's getting lightheaded and he's like, "We need to get it off now." So they strip down in this back alley.
Yep.
And he's like, "Do you have a washer? Because otherwise I'm going to need to go back to the alpha house naked." Because he can't shift back into a wolf.
Right, because he's cut off from
the wolfsbane.
Yeah. And so she's like, "What now?" And he goes, "We go inside before anyone sees you in your underwear." And she's like, "You're seeing me in my underwear." And he goes, "And I'm the only one who's allowed to. Killer, now get inside." And then she's like, "Since when is Max the possessive type?" And I'm like, "Since forever, bitch. That's his only defining personality trait."
And this is like the third sign that he knows or instinctively knows that they're mates.
Yeah. So what's crazy is that they don't get into the shower sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm imagining, like, anthrax, you know?
Yeah. I remember the big scare.
Yeah. But, like, that is a similar, like, powder, like, explosion, immediate concern.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, "There's wolfsbane in my hair, panic in my bloodstream, a wolf in my kitchen, and it's the middle of the fucking night. This is fine. It has to be." Why aren't you both immediately in the shower right now?
Yes.
Of course it's in your hair. Of course
Yeah.
you need to wash it out. I don't understand. Like, not only do they not get in the shower immediately, they don't even immediately start the washing machine.
Nope. They don't start the washing machine immediately. Instead, he decides to ask her why she made him a cupcake, which she has already explained to him.
Yep.
And then he says, you were going to feed me. And then she's like, yes. He says, will you feed me now?
She says, I don't know if that's a good idea. And he says, why not? I fed you earlier. And she goes, because you're the alpha. You take care of your pack mates. And he says, I don't see you as only a pack mate. And she says, what do you see me as? And he says, I should focus on the murder. That's important. The new zoning regulations in September, they were important too. I'm the alpha. I'm the sheriff. There's always something that requires my attention. But what about what I want? And she's like, what is it that you want? And he goes, something sweet. And so she goes and gets him pink lemonade cupcakes. And he goes, pink lemonade, my favorite. And she's like, are they all your favorite? Because he also said that caramel apple is his favorite.
Yes. And he said, if you bake them, then yes. So she gets one. He puts her on the counter, which, damn. But also not, like, I wish it was a damn, but it's not, because we don't really get too much. And he says, I do believe I asked if you would feed me.
Yeah.
So she does, and he growls her name softly. Love that. Tells her it's delicious. Also, so many health code violations in this bakery.
Oh, yeah.
1, the possum sitting on the flour. 2, now she's sitting on the counter in her undies.
Yeah. And 3, they're both covered in wolfsbane, sitting on the counter in her underwear.
That's true. So he kisses her.
Now we get a little bit of detail.
Yes. So
this is a pretty good kiss. The world shrinks to heat and heartbeat and magic flowing between us. He tastes like sugar and pine and want. It's dizzying. I love it. When he finally pulls away, he lifts his hand. His thumb goes to the corner of my mouth, wiping away a smear of frosting he shared with me like it's an excuse to touch me one more time. Don't ask me to forget again, honey. I'll do anything you ask of me, but don't ask that. For the record, he's the one who said they should forget it the first time.
Agreed. Men.
I know.
So then she's like, I should shower. And he gets all nervous again to wash the taste of me off of you. And she's like, no, because wolfsbane got in my hair. Remember, we were just attacked by this blowback spell.
Yeah. He carries her upstairs.
Yeah, which, like, cool, I guess. But I wanted more than what we got. So then he turns the shower on and he's like, I'll be waiting for you downstairs. I need to get my clothes so we can wash them. After that, I'd appreciate it if I could borrow your shower.
Why didn't they start the washing machine before she gets in the shower?
Because they were kissing. And then she broke away from the kiss and said, I need to shower.
Fine, but like, start the washing machine. Be more efficient with your time. There's a murderer on the loose.
Yeah, that's true.
So I do love this.
Yes.
This is phenomenal. I love that she doesn't even bother locking the door because she's like, Max is a gentleman. He obviously isn't going to like barge in. He wouldn't come back unless I invited him to. Not that a lock would keep him out anyway.
Yep.
But like the premise of this, brilliant. Because I too had forgotten.
Yes.
This is great.
So in the shower, she starts to wash her hair. And then all of a sudden he bangs into the room and says, why do you smell like my mate? And then she's like, oh shit. I forgot the scent dampening spell, and I just washed all of that off. And he is on high alert. However, he's also been covered in wolfsbane, so
you shouldn't be able to smell it.
You shouldn't be able to smell it that much, but maybe the fate mate bond thing supersedes any wolfsbane. So he says, what is that scent? It's been there underneath everything, under sugar, under coffee, under whatever charm you've been hiding behind, and you've been hiding it, haven't you? That you're my, and she says, mate. He says, you've been mine all along, and you didn't tell me. And she says, you would have treated me differently. And he's like, damn right I would have. Basically, she tells him that, like, I thought you wouldn't want me because I'm a lowly prey shifter, and he says, you have no idea how hard it's been, honey, wanting to keep you close and not knowing why. Every time you smiled at me, I wanted to. Doesn't matter. And she says, it does. And then she looks at him and says, "You're scared."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Of hurting you. A predator doesn't know his own strength sometimes. And you're fierce, killer. You can be feisty. You're still smaller than I am, in your fur and in your skin."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "It took me long enough. You had your reasons. I can blame the charm all I want for being blind, but I see you now. You're mine, honey." And she said, "That's all I've wanted to hear." So all it takes for them to have shower sex
Mm-hmm.
is for him to realize that he's her mate. Now, this is both of their first time.
Yeah.
And all I could think about was how terrible this would be.
Yeah. This is bad anyway.
Yeah. A seasoned
Sex havers.
yes, would mostly agree that shower sex is not ideal.
No.
And they both admit to the other that they are virgins. And he says, "Where? Here? Your bed? Because my wolf is begging me to get you under him, honey. If you'll let him, if you'll let me, I'm taking you as my mate right now." She's like, "Here sounds good." Well, it's because she's
Wrong.
unseasoned that she thinks that sounds good.
Correct.
And she's like, "I'm not afraid of this." Which also, this is where we get the only part that's like even a little bit explicit.
Yeah. It's one paragraph, basically.
Yes.
It's a sentence, even.
He said he would be careful, that he would take his time. Despite my insistence that I only want him, I should have known better. Max has proven again and again that he doesn't want to hurt me, so careful and slow. That's exactly what he does at first. Kissing me at the same time to distract me from any discomfort, he moves slowly yet possessively, feeding every inch of his cock into my waiting, hot and slick pussy, both of us enjoying the sensation of two becoming one.
Yeah.
Now, that's like quite literally, I think, the only time the word pussy is used.
Yep.
Maybe one of two times the word cock is used.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where anybody that wants closed door is going to be upset at this book.
Yeah. It does go into a little bit more. There's some resistance. I sense it. So does Max. He digs his fingers into my hair, prickling my scalp with his claws. At the same time, he nibbles on my bottom lip and shoves, which I didn't quite love.
No, it hurts. And then the pain is there and gone. And by the time Max is withdrawing from me, prepared to make a second thrust, all I'm experiencing is pleasure. So for someone that maybe is inexperienced and is going to read this and be like, "Oh, okay, so my first time won't be painful after that first thrust." Not necessarily accurate either.
Everybody's different too. And like
Yeah.
a lot of like virgin portrayals in books, it's like it either like doesn't hurt at all or it hurts like way more than it should. And like all I will say is, one, men can't tell. They think they can, they can't. Two, lube. Like,
Yep.
whether it is your body's natural lubrication and like you've done enough work and foreplay up until this point to like get you prepped, like it is so important for your first time to make sure you're loose, that you are relaxed, that you like have enough lubrication. But like beyond that, it's just going to be a matter of like your anatomy. Some people bleed, some people don't. Some people it hurts, some people it doesn't. It didn't hurt my first time. I didn't bleed.
It was the opposite. I feel like the opposite for me. Yeah, but the lubrication piece, having sex in the shower for the first time,
you're
eliminating all of that.
Yes,
like,
you're washing away any natural lubrication that you have. Like, do not make your first time be in a running shower.
Yes. So after we got dirty in the shower, Max took his time and care in cleaning me up.
She bled.
Yep. And then, hey, I told him I was a virgin. He knew that, but as though it really hit him in the moment that he claimed me, he dropped reverentially to his knees and licked my thigh clean. Then, as an encore, he decided to find out what my pussy tasted like. I guess we use it twice.
Twice, indeed. So then they fucking go to sleep. They still haven't started the washing machine.
Yeah. They decide that, like, yeah, maybe we should start to do things. So they're like, okay, let's put the clothes in the washing machine. We also find out before that that the Luna god has whispered her name into his ear.
Yes.
Confirming for him that she is, in fact, his mate and it has been approved by the gods.
Yep.
But because he's an alpha, there's a whole claiming ceremony and it can only take place on the night of a full moon.
Mm-hmm. They're still laying in bed.
Yeah.
And Roxy Kane comes in at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I was going to leave this downstairs for you, but then I thought I heard something and and then she's like, I take it that this is a good thing. And Honey's like, yep, he's my mate. And she goes, congrats. This actually saves us all some time and trouble. Sheriff will want to see this too. And like, so all of this happens off page. Roxy is the detective who like runs
she
this
figures
lead
out
down.
the murder.
Yeah. And like figures out everything. And again, the criminals are stupid as fuck because there is a detailed ledger of like the transactions between the witch who runs the apothecary shop and Leo Holloway, who is the wolf that we've mentioned a couple of times, who was in the bakery when she accidentally gave away the can't resist cupcakes, who works in law enforcement with Max, who was having a discussion with a witch about Abigail's death.
Who was the one that Abigail was dating.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we got to do something about this. It's 3 a.m. Roxy leaves. Then they start the laundry and cook some breakfast.
And decide that they're not going to meet until 9 a.m.
Yeah, and she's like, what will we do until we leave? And he says, whatever we want. So they don't sleep and they don't fuck.
Yeah.
What was the point of this?
It was very sweet and nice, and they talked a lot about things and all of that. So,
and they had breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning.
She cooked breakfast for him, so she's feeding him again. It's all very lovely. So they go back to the Alpha cabin.
Indeed.
They talk to Reardon. They tell him that they're mates, and he's like, this is what happened here. He shows them the piece of paper that implicates
the witch whose name is Talia and Leo the wolf.
Yes. So they don't have proof. And Reardon's like, hear me out. I've got an idea and you're going to hate it.
Yeah. Sorry, to be clear, they do have proof. Roxy obtained the proof illegally, so they can't use it. Which is hilarious to me because, again, if we're so concerned about police procedure, we should have been concerned about police procedure when examining the crime scene several chapters ago.
Fair. So Reardon's like, I've got an idea. Max, you're going to hate this, but what if we use Honey as bait? And Max is like, absolutely the fuck not. And Honey's like, actually, you know, it would be a pretty good idea, except that now I can't play dead anymore. Since we've become like closer and gotten more physical contact, anytime you're near me, something that should spook me and cause me to play dead doesn't happen anymore. And now we get information that Reardon is cursed.
Indeed.
When he thought that he was going to be the alpha, he got too cocky and he told off a witch who then cursed him. And the curse is that anything he says, if he makes a command, people have to follow it.
Yes.
So he's like, we can change this. You're going to wear a wire and we're going to bait the wolf into coming after you. And you're going to wear a wire and I'm going to tell you that you need to play dead. When it's that time. So you'll have no choice but to follow my direction.
Yes.
And then when all is clear, I'll tell you it's okay to wake up again. And then you won't actually die and Max won't kill me in the process.
Yep. In any storytelling. Okay. So this is a fun little tidbit, which this breaks from.
Yeah.
The success of any plan in fiction is dependent upon how much the audience knows about its specifics.
Okay.
So when you're watching a heist movie, for example, think Ocean's 11. They walk you through the plan from start to finish.
Yeah.
And you think you know what the plan is. And then on screen, it looks like everything goes completely wrong. The SWAT team shows up. And then it rewinds and shows you everything that was actually happening that you missed.
Yeah.
Or that they didn't tell you, or that was like spun a different way. And this is a very, very, very established rhetorical device that most authors don't even necessarily realize they're doing.
Okay.
Partially because when you explain the plan up front and then you have to describe the plan being enacted, that's boring. because you've repeated yourself.
Yes.
And so you end up kind of by accident conforming to this unwritten rule of a plan that has to go correctly. And what happens here is why you should follow the rhetorical device, because we get telling multiple times instead of showing. They tell us what the plan is going to be, and then they tell us that the plan went well.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of anticlimactic.
That's fair.
And that's why.
We do get the plan, again, is that they're going to use her as bait. She says, it was a sting. Look at me using detective lingo. I was bait and I did a good job. Figuring that it was Leo that Gus saw peeking at me last night. If he was still coming after me, he'd be watching the cabin. Mm-hmm. Max confirmed that Leo had an apartment downtown, but Declan was an old friend of his. He would sometimes stay over at his cabin if pack meets ran late. So they set it up where they collect some wolves that they fully believe in, which, I mean, could have gone wrong, because that could have been something that makes it go wrong. So basically they figure out that Leo was on the wrong side of being feral. When you're part human, part beast, sometimes the shifter goes bad. You start thinking you can live outside of the pack rules, but instead of going lone wolf, you break. So they fake that Max is distracted. Mm-hmm. She says she's going for a walk. Mm-hmm. He follows her, but it's feeding right into their plan.
Indeed.
Reardon says, play dead, and then wake up, honey, wake up now or Max will gut me. So then she wakes up and Leo is being restrained.
Yeah. Which, like, we didn't need this whole plan. None of this is proof. The proof is when they jab him with truth-telling serum and he admits everything. We didn't need him to chase down Honey in the woods.
Well, I mean, I guess that because it's the alpha's mate, him chasing her down in the woods is enough of a reason for them to detain him, even if it's not related to the murders.
Okay, fine.
So, but then he says, I should have killed you when I had the chance instead of using you to fuck with Max before I stole his pack from him. I should have killed you. He thought you were something I knew better. You're nothing but worthless prey. And he spits at her, which in shifter world, when you spit at the alpha's mate, that's enough of a challenge.
Yeah.
So instead of killing him, which is what he would do in a challenge, Max stops and then injects him with Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And something else, a charm. He worked with a witch as well that will basically give him the truth bomb, truth serum kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
So we find out that he wanted to overthrow the alpha.
Yep. He said, why Honey? Why did you involve her? And he says, I knew she was your mate. You didn't, but I did. And I made sure you stayed away from her until those Luna Dam cupcakes. You went to her. What happened next? I sent Declan to try to catch her attention. Witches don't have fated mates. They can be one, but they don't have one. If he flirted with her, if he made her his mate, you'd lose. Only she didn't even notice. She gave him special food for you. She was trying to feed you. And when I told Declan that he needed to throw the cupcake away, he said he couldn't. The damn fool was loyal to the alpha. He didn't want me to be the alpha. I had to kill him.
How did he know that she was the mate instead?
Unclear. And so it says he needed a tester for the poison. And so he convinced Declan that Max was going to meet him at the bakery after the pack meeting. And he poisoned the cupcake and then held him down while he forced him to take a bite, which doesn't make any sense either.
Well, because he wanted to try to frame Honey for the murder. It doesn't even
say that he tried to frame her.
Yeah, that's true. So then he says, and basically Abigail thought we might be mates. I let her think so. Men. Having a lawyer on my side, she was so damn scared all the time, but I did my best. I asked her to do one thing, give the witch, the opossum, whatever, give her the tea. She did that. I thanked her just the way she liked. Ew.
Right.
But do you know what she did? Made herself a cup. Dumb bitch drank the poison on her own because she felt bad for helping me kill the baker. So, again, goes against the instincts of keeping themselves alive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all of the truth serum is starting to wear off.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get who else he was working with. So they've got his confession.
Uh-huh.
He had his big villain monologue in front of me, Max, Reardon, and the phone in Reardon's pocket that he set to record as soon as this madness began. And then
Mm-hmm.
He injects him again with a second dose of quicksilver, which just sedates him.
Yeah.
Then he howls and calls the whole pack to where they are.
Yep. He taps into his wolf to make the howl, using so much of his power to send the howl out to every packmate in hearing distance. So everyone comes. Some of them are in their skin, some are in their fur. They're all mature shifters in the prime of their life. And Reardon says, the wolves of the Moon Shadow Pack have gathered. They've answered their alpha's call, but we have another who believes he should rule. And he throws Leo forward and says, show respect to your alpha. This is a very clever
his
move.
Curse statement magic.
And so every single shifter goes down on one knee, and a majority of the wolves genuflect in the clear direction of Max. But there are some, 9, maybe 10, who turn toward Leo's body as they lower themselves to the dirt. So they've singled out who was turning against Max, basically.
Yes. So now basically it's come to the point where Max has been challenged. He needs to kill the challenger. And he doesn't really want her to see it.
Yeah.
He's basically giving her the opportunity to leave. Reardon's like, I'll take her back to the cabin.
Yeah.
Giving her the choice, though, and she realizes that he's a predator. I knew that going into this. As a sheriff, he needed proof that he caught the soup who killed Declan Rowe and was responsible for Abigail Cloverfield's death. As Alpha, he needed to make an example of them so the pack could have justice. And he's terrified that I'll see this side of him and suddenly change my mind about being his mate.
Yeah.
So instead of making him stressed out that that's going to happen, she kisses him and says, I'll be waiting for you at the cabin when you're done.
Yep.
And then we get an epilogue.
We do.
It is not 1 year later.
No.
It's not even 1 month later.
Nope.
At the claiming ceremony at the full moon.
Yes.
They don't do weddings. They do this ceremony. They still have the I do piece of it.
Yep.
And all of the wolves are there. Some of the prey have come to respect their mating.
Union. Yeah. But it says his family is here. Mine isn't. That was on purpose.
Which is crazy.
Oh, insane. I don't understand why we had to expressly say that her family didn't show up. And then we get a little bit of references to more sex, but nothing explicit.
Yeah.
And then we get a random reference to her cousin, who I assume is in one of the next books.
He's in the next book. It looks like he ends up being Roxy's mate. Yes.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And then that's pretty much it. Moonborough is safe. No more murders. No more poison. No more betrayal, secrets, or lies. And that's where we end. What would you give this one?
I'm thinking I'm going with a 3, with 3 stars.
Okay.
It's not my favorite. I wanted more, but the setting was fabulous. I loved so many of the interactions between the characters. I loved the premise. I think overall, like you said, there were many of the pieces that you need for a good mystery and a good romance. And all in all, it was cozy. It was cute. I enjoyed reading it. It was a great break from reality. How about you?
I would give it a 3 also. It was, for a 300-page book, it was a pretty quick read.
Yep.
It was sweet. You had those moments of swooning for the main character. Yeah. It was not so much a what in the smut as a where is the smut for me. But we didn't know that going into it. So it was a sweet romance. And I liked it. Yeah. 3 stars.
Yeah. So who did you cast?
So, for this one, I cast Honey as Elle Fanning.
Ooh.
She's got the blonde hair. She can play this sweet, I don't know, she's got sweet, but I also think she's got a little bit of spark to her. Yeah.
Yeah. I like this a lot. She's got prey shifter vibes, Yeah.
Now, Max.
I don't know who this is.
Oh, because you haven't watched Heated Rivalry yet.
That's true. I have
So,
not.
Max I cast as Francois Arnaud, who plays
Mhm.
Scott in Heated Rivalry. And man, oh man, what a man.
Okay.
Oh, like, whoa.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yes, Francois Arnaud for Max.
Love it.
And then I did also cast Roxy.
I love them.
A little bit snarky, a little bit sassy. Definitely would play the character well. Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, she's I
little
don't
and
think
she's
it's offensive
feisty.
to say that she's got Trash Panda vibes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think she would love that actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
I
she's
love
little
this
and
fic.
she's feisty, and that would be she gives off Roxy vibes 100%.
Yeah, I think this is great.
Now, have you been trying to escape reality lately by reading anything else?
Yes, absolutely. God, you could not pay me to experience real life right now. So I read Tempests and Tea Leaves by Rachel Morgan. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
But I finally got around to it this past week. It's very, very fun. No spice. It's Regency-ish. It's got Bridgerton vibes, but it's a fantasy world. They're all fae. And there's definite Pride and Prejudice vibes. We've got a clear Darcy character, a clear Lizzie character. The romance was a slow burn. It worked so well. And I was happy. How about you?
So I got a recommendation for The Midnight Library, and I listened to the audiobook. I always love an audiobook with a British narrator, and the book, the main character is British. It takes place in the UK. So it's The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And it was so good. It's basically like when you think about, if I made this decision instead of this decision, what would my life look like? And the main character gets to kind of live all of those lives.
Yeah.
It is good for somebody that's like kind of going through a funk with like, have I made the right decisions in my life? That kind of thing. It was so, so good. I cannot recommend it enough. Very little in terms of like, there's no spice. It's not a romance. It's more of a like coming into your own kind of story instead. It was so good.
Amazing. So what are we reading next week?
So next week, I mentioned it a while back, we are going to read Willing Prey by Ali Oleander, and we will have a special guest with us.
You love him. You know him well. We are excited to welcome back Nick the Forge Bear next week.
Yes, I'm very excited to see what kind of perspective he's going to have on the primal play kink that comes with that book.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to have some really, really good discussions. I'm excited to talk about it with Nick.
Can't wait. It's going to be great.
If you've made it this far, and we know that this is a long one this week, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends. And with that,
we are at our wits' end.
we'll see you next time.